am talking now to the CEO of Liberals, a DA leader who can actually speak Xhosa. Yeah, that's for you, Ellen. Former leader of the opposition in Parliament with the biggest head in politics, literally, Athol Trollip. Hey man, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Chester, and you?
Oh, it's very good. Athol is quite an unusual name, isn't it?
No, I think it's all right. I've got used to it over the last 50 years.
I'm sure you have. I just can imagine it going wrong. You know, someone going, hey, you bloody asshole. You know, does that ever happen?
It happens a lot. I have a German brother-in-law who calls me asshole a lot.
You speak Xhosa fluently.
I was very fortunate. I didn't learn Xhosa. I grew up speaking it as my first language. And dis nang is Xhosa mfondini.
Do you ever give Helen Xhosa lessons in your spare time?
I do sometimes if she asks for advice on a word or a phrase. I do.
Yeah, because apparently hers is really
Well, she learned Xhosa at the age of 50. I admire people who learn a new language at the later stage in their life.
No, that's true. The DA is offering about 6 million real jobs. That's what they're shouting now. How many of those are as domestic workers and gardeners for DA voters?
Well, those aren't real jobs. Well, they're certainly better than expanded public works program jobs. Yeah. We've offered 7 million.
So is that a yes? It is for the domestic workers.
Well, for anyone who works full-time and gets a full-time monthly salary, that's a real job.
You guys have some very vague promises about land reform. I mean, when it comes, will you just tip him out after May 7th?
We are unambiguous about our support for restitution.
Yeah.
It's in our party's policies for redress. We believe it needs to take place.
Sometimes it looks like your voters are planning for continental drift to redistribute the land, rather.
Not at all.
Just stay where you are and the land will come to you.
Chester, let me just say one thing about that. Section 25 of the Constitution protects everyone's right to own property.
Everyone.
Therefore, if you own property in South Africa and you're white or black, and you expect that property right to be respected, then so too should you respect the fact that those people who've had land taken away from them without compensation should have their right to have it returned to them.
You were the guy who got that Abatembu King Dalenjebo into the DA. Did you tell him the DA is actually Dagga Alliance?
No, I didn't. I made it quite clear that when he joined the DA that he wasn't a public representative, and if he wanted to be a public representative, he wouldn't qualify.
But I mean, is it now a DA policy that we can all smoke Dagga? Is that why Helen Zille said the DA is going green?
It's definitely not our policy that you can smoke Dagga, no.
You smell like Dagga now.
Do I?
Yes.
Well, I haven't had a joint.
You were against Mampela Rampele joining the DA, merging what? Is that because she's a backstabbing capitalist, or it's because your voters struggle to say her name?
No, I was against it because I wasn't convinced she brought anything to the Democratic Alliance. I thought she was a freeloader and that she wasn't going to make an iota of difference to our electoral efforts.
An iota of difference?
Absolutely.
An iota. As punishment for the Agang screw-up, why didn't the DA take away Helen's smartphone so she can't tweet?
Who knows? We don't take things away from people. We don't confiscate. We don't have a protection of state information.
No, I've been to the Western Cape. If you walk around with your cell phone in your car, boom, gone, boom, like that. Ninjas.
No, you don't walk around in your car. You're driving. When you're driving in your car, you lose it. Because it's dangerous, Chester.
Yes, so is Helen Zille tweeting. Very dangerous. She's attacking journalists now. Are you okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with tweeting. I don't tweet. I haven't got time to tweet.
You guys went to Polokwane and you have a 3% support base there.
Yeah, we're growing it. We're growing it there.
No, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. But is there anything the DA won't do to try and make itself look more black?
Do you want us not to campaign in Polokwane? We're campaigning in every ward and every voting district across the country in this election.
Good for you.
There are no-go areas. The ANC says, where are your white supporters at Polokwane, as if black people are their sole preserve. Our party is a party for all South Africans.
Yes, but come now. You know you have a lot of white supporters. Why do they not go out like to that kind of event?
Well,
why weren't they at that big march on Lutuli House? Do your white supporters think that politics is something black people must do and then they can just reap the benefits?
Different strokes for different folks.
The DA has done all it can to get Jacob Zuma out of office and has failed at every turn. Every turn. You can't beat him in elections. You can't beat him in the courts. What is left for you to do now?
Jacob Zuma has spent taxpayers' money staying out of court for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
If we could just get him into court, I'm convinced we would beat him in court.
You are now running for provincial head of the Eastern Cape.
No, I am the provincial head of the Eastern Cape.
But to be the premier.
Yes.
Is that because you lost the bet?
No, not at all.
Lies!
I love the Eastern Cape.
Lies.
I love the Eastern Cape. I want to govern the Eastern Cape.
He wants to govern the Eastern Cape. Yeah. As the president of the Eastern Cape, go back to your bloody Eastern Cape. But thank you, Athol.
No, we want to make the Eastern Cape like the Western Cape.
Yes. White. Bye.
News that moves. ENCA.com.